In this video, we're going to talk about how to thank a client for accepting a proposal, including the exact email you want to send. So first and foremost, congratulations, because if you're watching this video, that means that a client is about to accept one of your proposals, or they just have, and you're wondering what you should do to make that client feel really great about the decision they just made to work with you and your firm. So I'm going to walk you through the exact process that we teach to our Bold House Collective members on how they should go about thanking that client, including the email that you always want to send to them after the deal is done. Let's talk first and foremost about the steps and the ways that you want to say thank you, because it is more than just the words that you say. It's not just about saying thank you so much. The first thing is that you do want to send a thank you email to them. It's not enough to say thanks in a conversation. So we're going to get into that email here in just a second. The next best way that you can thank a client for real is to be low maintenance. Be low maintenance. The last thing that you want to do is turn into a PITA, a pain in the bleep, right after a client has decided to work with your firm. And so sending them a ton of emails that aren't thought out, asking them questions to things that you could find out by looking at their website and finding their address or asking ChatGPT. You don't want to be filling up their inboxes with this. So you really have to look at what are we doing to reduce the amount of headache and time that we're taking up with our new client. Because even though they may be your whole world right now, you are not their whole world right now. They have a lot of other things to still do. Number 3, be a taker, not a giver. And this is an expression that I learned 20 years ago from a conference that I was at. I loved it so much, meaning you want to take as many things off your client's plate as you possibly can, as opposed to giving them homework to do. So what kinds of things can you say to them? We're going to take this off your plate. Our team is now going to handle these things for you. You don't have to worry about it. We've thought about it. We've handled it. It is done. Or it's a step that they don't have to worry about because you've already got it under control. So that is a great way to thank a client who is investing to work with you and your team. Next, you want to send a small gift their way. And this can be a little tricky, so you have to be careful. A lot of companies have policies that their employees cannot accept a gift that has a certain dollar value. Typically, the tipping point is around $25 per gift. But there are ways around this. The first way around this is to send food, especially if the food is something like a chocolate, an assortment of chocolates or a fruit basket or a pizza, something that the entire team can share, because then that dollar value is considered distributed across all of those team members. So food is a really safe way to get past that $25 dollar limit and be highly ethical, because people are going to eat and companies often provide food to their people. Now, if you absolutely cannot send a gift, it's going to cause a big problem. Maybe it's a government client or a nonprofit client, or just a situation where that would be uncomfortable. The other thing you can do is actually make a donation to a nonprofit, to a cause, on behalf of their organization. And there's a couple of different ways you can go about this that's very strategic. There are many companies today that already support certain nonprofits. There, if you look at Nike, if you look at Coca-Cola, if you go to their website, they say plainly the nonprofits that they are supporting. So it would be smart of you to make a donation to the very causes that your client is already supporting. It shows that you have taken the time to get to know your client, that you see them and you see what matters to their brand, and you are a true partner to this organization. So go ahead and make a donation to that cause and then let the decision maker know that you've done that. Alternatively, you can make a donation to a cause that decision maker really cares about. And you can either ask them, hey, is there a nonprofit that is really near and dear to your heart that you would love to support further, because we would like to make a donation as a thank you for working with your organization. So you can ask them, or you can be a little bit ninja about it, because if you had conversations with them and you happen to notice in their office, or even if it was their home office, you noticed a photograph of their family skiing in Vail, and that happened to come up numerous times. So you know that the great outdoors is really important to that client, or you know that their son or daughter goes to Duke University or the University of Maryland or the South Florida, wherever they go. You can make a donation to that university or to a cause that's related to that. So you can do something that shows that you're paying really close attention to your clients, you're getting to know them, and so you're gonna go from there. Now, my husband's gonna kill me that I mentioned both the University of Maryland and Duke in the same sentence, so I'm gonna pay for that later, you guys. All right, next, do what you say you will do and more. This is the best way to thank every client that you ever work for, is to do everything that you and your firm have committed to do, and then do some extra. And it's okay to make sure that you're letting your clients know when you've completed a milestone, when you've checked those boxes. It's a good idea to let them know, to say, hey, John, I hope you're doing great. Just wanted to update you that the first 5 deliverables that we talked about are now done, off your plate. We're feeling really good about it. We want to make sure your team is feeling really good about it. And oh, by the way, we also did these 2 extra things for you. It is okay to do that, and you should do that to make sure that the client is taking a moment to really absorb the value that you're delivering. And last but not least, make sure that you're staying focused on the end outcomes. It is not enough in today's world, particularly as a consultant, as a coach, as a professional services provider, to just check the boxes that we talked about in number 6, but to make sure that it's all about getting the job done. What is that new behavior that they're looking for? What are those bottom line business results that they are looking for? And making sure that your firm and your team and you are staying focused. That's really how you thank a client for their business. But more importantly, let's look at the sample email that I want you to swipe from us at Bold House, and I want you to use this exact email with your clients. And I'm gonna tell you why we're doing some of the things that we're doing in this email, because out of curiosity, I asked ChatGPT and Claude for sample emails. I just wanted to see, and sure enough, it's very generic, it's very watered down. It's just this boilerplate kind of language, and it doesn't do the heavy lifting strategically that I want you to do when you're thanking your clients. All right, so let's take a look at what this email says. The subject line is really important, you guys. It says, thank you, and let's create some magic together. So you can put that part in your own words, but you want it to feel very energized, and you want it to really reinforce the partnership and the value that's going to come together, because it's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 3, because of that magic that's going to happen at the intersection of their team and your team. Hi, client's name. Thank you so much for your trust in the name of your firm. Do not say me or us, say the name of your firm. You want to reinforce that. And for moving forward with our recommendations and the journey we mapped out together. Our entire team is genuinely excited about what we'll accomplish together and appreciate the opportunity to partner with you. The next 3 things that will happen now. Number 1, we'll work with your accounting, contracting, vendor team to finalize any additional paperwork so that our team can begin work. We'll let you know if anything pops up. Number 2, we'll prepare the agenda for our 90-minute kickoff meeting scheduled on insert date. We recommend including anyone integrally involved with the project. Number 3, we'll start making the magic happen. Looking forward to getting started. Warmly, your name. So this email is doing a lot of lifting for you in a very concise format. In the first paragraph, we're reestablishing your brand name. This is really important, you guys, because if you are a boutique firm, a self-employed coach, consultant, expert, what have you, you do not want to get the client thinking they're only buying from you. If you want to bring in team later, even if you don't have team now that's entirely visible to your client, you want to make sure that you're reestablishing the fact that they haven't hired you personally, but this is a business-to-business relationship. You're also reminding them that what they have signed on to do has been co-created with them. Yes, they took your expert recommendations, absolutely, but this was a joint decision here, okay? So they're in it with you. If things turn out not to be the exact right decision, we're just reestablishing this was jointly developed between the two of us. You're establishing again with our entire team, even if they don't see your other team members. You probably have an attorney you work with, you have a bookkeeper, you have a virtual assistant, you have a web manager, you have a copywriter, you have a social media person. You do have a team. We have this conversation all the time at Bold House that even folks who feel like they are a one-person business, they are never a one-person business. So you are speaking as the CEO on behalf of your company. Now let's look at those 3 things that we point out down here. Number 1, you're letting them know that you're going to be a taker, not a giver, as we said earlier, because you're going to take it off of them. You're going to figure out who we need to go talk to. You're going to communicate directly with that contracting team, accounts payable, whoever needs to get everything official so that your company can be paid. You're going to handle that. But you're also gently letting them know that you're not going to start work with them. So you're doing this very diplomatically here, you guys, right? So that our team can begin work. So that's a nice way of saying our team is not going to begin work until we get our deposit. But we're doing it so nicely, right? And then number 2, we're talking about our kickoff meeting with the client. Now, this is something that we get really into in our Bold House Collective. We give our members an exact framework for how to do this kickoff meeting in order to keep the project on time, on budget, get the results, avoid scope creep, make sure that you can upsell when it is appropriate. Lots of things going on here, but you want to get this meeting started right away. And you don't ever want to start work with a client without one of these. And then lastly, just bringing back to that subject line, guys, let's go. Let's really make something amazing happen here. So that's why this email works. It's short, it's concise, it's friendly, but it's also taking care of a lot of important business for you. So I mentioned the Bold House Collective a number of times. This is, look, if you're a consultant, you're a coach, you're a professional services provider, and you're working with organizations and corporates, this is your home that you absolutely need to be in. It is unbelievable. It is a training program plus a global community. It is not one or the other. There is an entire online library, we call it our Land, Expand, Scale Vault, that has over 160 micro lessons, templates, swipe copy like what I just shared with you, frameworks, everything you need in order to not only land these clients that we're talking about, but expand and scale your professional services firm. It is unbelievable. And one of the things that we include when someone joins our collective is what we call our All Systems Go week. You literally come in and work with me and the faculty for an entire week in a small room. It's about 15, 20 people, generally speaking, and we essentially help you land, expand, scale right in that room. It's incredible. And if you are someone who is a David selling to a Goliath, this is the place you need to be. You can head over to boldhouse.com in order to learn more and to book a team with our call. You can head over now to boldhouse.com in order to learn more about the Bold House Collective and even book a call with our team. It's a really friendly call. We love to get to know folks, and it is not one of those highly aggressive conversations. We want to get to know you and your professional services business and see if the Bold House Collective might be a fit for you or not. Either way, the very next thing I want you to do is head over now to our next video that is really the next step in this process that we've been talking about, and it's understanding how to market successfully to B2B buyers. So here's a secret I'm going to leave you with. When you get to that point of thanking a client and getting started working with them, the success or failure of that relationship actually harkens all the way back to how you were doing your marketing to begin with. So head there now to how to market successfully to B2B buyers. I've dropped the link for that right in the description below, and I will see you there next.